That's a liberal.
It's like saying, would you rather have wine or water?
Wine, a half inch means a lot sometimes.
Nobody likes to eat crow. Right.
Now I'm starving.
How much is the economy today? It's that much.
This pumpkin latte sucked, and I want to speak to your manager.
Objection, hearsay. Objection, leading. Objection, hearsay.
Where is that woman when Biden speaks?
Get out of here. His name is pronounced Joni. And that's the end of it.
Hello, darling.
Mother.
You look marvelous.
You.
You look like you're going to play tennis.
I wish. Well, not tennis.
Not tennis?
Yeah.
Pickleball?
No. I used to play golf.
Golf?
Well, I can't play anymore because they stole my golf clubs with the car.
We'll buy you another one.
It's all right.
Well, look at
Get a car first.
Get a car first is right. Beer Nuts, good evening. How are you? Billy Nolan on time. How you doing? We got Ralph Rubinick. How you doing? And Grandma Joe. No, you don't need to say how much you love us. We love you back, Grandma Joe.
She's talking to me.
And Mick 40, how are you? The Professor, how are you? And our OG Lucille Chavone, how are you? It's good to see you all. Let me remind everybody, please, if you're on X, which I don't see anybody coming to us from X, but if you're on X, please share the show. If you're on anywhere, please share the show. But especially on X, we do better when you share it because I don't know what those algorithms are all about. So, Margie, how are you, Margie? Good to see you. And Angela Ricca. All right, we've got most of our old team here tonight. Hopefully some more will join us. So, Jenny, what's going on in New York?
Nothing. Same old crap.
Same old crap?
Yep.
Car thefts, pooping in the street.
Migrants everywhere. Everyone's getting sick. Same stuff.
Makes me happy that I don't live there, and I'm sorry you still do. Hello, Colleen Mahoney and Howard Zim. There you are. Howard Zim's with us, and you were there before him, Jennifer. That's a change. Well, we've got a lot of videos. Oh, J.A. is with us from Twitter. She's watching us on YouTube. Thank you, J.A. She's from Bad Squad Patriots. Thanks for joining us, and so is Beer Nuts. J.A., if you could share us on Twitter, that'd be great. So,
you're going to say hi to Maria Lupo.
Oh, Maria Lupo, I missed you. Skipped right over you. How are you, Maria? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning in. Israel saved a Muslim hostage today. Not a peep from the media. Yeah, that was pretty cool how they did that. They found him in the tunnels and they saved him. And they said that they're going to get the hostages out one way or another since Hamas is not negotiating. And but Israel's going in and they're going to
hostage. Who had a Muslim hostage?
Hamas had a Muslim that was from Israel. Oh. You know, Israel has Muslims as well. You know, it's not just the West Bank that has, or not just Gaza. Jen, make sure you get your official New York City trash can.
I don't need it. I have an apartment person who takes the trash out.
Thank goodness. I have a person who takes the trash out too, but I wouldn't call them an apartment person. But that is my rule. Men deal with the cars and the garbage.
Or at least they pay someone to take the garbage out and fix it.
I don't care how they pay, how they take care of it, just as long as they take care of it. Okay, so tonight's show, Weird and Wild. Basically, we're talking about Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. But I wanted to start out with something from the 1960s, from Paul Harvey's radio show about the devil. So have a listen. It's going to make you creeped out a little bit. Watch.
If I were the prince of darkness, I'd want to engulf the whole world in darkness, and I'd have a third of its real estate and 4/5 of its population, but I wouldn't be happy until I had seized the ripest apple on the tree. Thee. So I'd set about, however necessary, to take over the United States. I'd subvert the churches first. I'd begin with a campaign of whispers. With the wisdom of a serpent, I would whisper to you as I whispered to Eve, do as you please. To the young, I would whisper that the Bible is a myth. I would convince them that man created God instead of the other way around. I would confide that what's bad is good and what's good is square. And the old I would teach to pray after me, Our Father, which art in Washington. And then I'd get organized. I'd educate authors in how to make lurid literature exciting so that anything else would appear dull and uninteresting. I'd threaten TV with dirtier movies and vice versa. I'd peddle narcotics to whom I could. I'd sell alcohol to ladies and gentlemen of distinction. I'd tranquilize the rest with pills. If I were the devil, I'd soon have families at war with themselves, churches at war with themselves, and nations at war with themselves, until each in its turn was consumed. And with promises of higher ratings, I'd have mesmerizing media fanning the flames.
Paul Harvey.
I know you only heard part of that, Jen.
I did because I needed these and I got them. They were good.
Yeah. Well, at any rate, he had some interesting predictions or ideas about if he was the devil, he'd do all those things. And guess what's happening? All those things. It's really, really sad. Mike, you people are sick. Abortion is wrong. Well, we agree, Mike. We agree. That has to be a choice between a woman and her doctor, because she's got to live with that. But it is absolutely wrong. And we believe, and if you watched last week's show, you would have heard it at length. I believe anyway, that if they put as much money into adoption as they do into abortion, that we'd all be much better off. So we agree with you. Scary, Tommy. Thanks for joining us, Tommy. Good to see you. Socialism 101. Indeed. Good versus evil. Absolutely. So with that in mind, I thought that I'd show you a clip from the DNC, and they actually fact checked somebody at the DNC, and the fact checker was CNN. So watch this.
Listen to this claim from Congresswoman Lisa Blunt Rochester of Delaware about Project 2025 and former President Trump.
He has, with his friends, said the quiet parts out loud, but not only said them out loud, he wrote a book about it. What's it called? Project 2025.
That is false. Trump did not write Project 2025. The project's big policy document published by the Heritage Foundation think tank lists dozens of people as authors, editors, contributors. Donald Trump is not among them.
Aha. Finally.
What's going on? Oh, amazing. I miss Paul Harvey. What a wise man. Indeed. I mean, it seems like all of the people that had all of the wisdom was in a different generation, because now we have now we have this. Hold on.
Would you rather have a democracy or access to abortions?
Either or. I feel like that's a very tough question to answer. I feel like that's almost not possible to answer. I feel like I couldn't pick one or the other.
Even if you had to choose?
I had to choose.
Can we get a final answer? I know it's hard.
I guess access to abortion.
This year, it'd be so brat. Have a higher tax rate for rich white men.
Well, if we have a Democratic Congress, we certainly will.
Yeah, baby. Tax those rich old whiteys. Come on. Your best pickup line.
My best pickup line. I'll pay.
Who are the cuties in the Democratic Party that are speaking?
Oh, I don't know. Talk to anyone who lives in D.C. It's hard to find a cute Democrat.
Oh my God, shots fired.
No, that's the tea. Ask anyone who lives in D.C. and who works in Democratic politics. It's hard to find the cute ones.
The Republican guys are hotter?
Yeah, but they're evil. So like, I don't know.
We kind of love evil. Oh my God.
I feel like
You are so bad. Free abortions.
Yes, queen.
Free gender affirming care for migrants.
Yes, queen.
Child tax credits for dogs.
Yes, queen.
Ban standardized testing.
Yes, queen.
Oh yeah, like my ADD is so crazy. Get rid of those things, please.
Yes, queen. Yeah.
Amazing. Different tax rate for white men.
Yes, queen.
Amen, sister. Love you. Love her energy.
Thank
She's
you.
a yes queener. My girlfriend needs to get an abortion. Could you help me cover it up? Please? I need help. I need to do it like discreet way. Oh. Is Kamala so us?
She's so us because she's brat. Kamala is brat.
She is so brat. What does brat mean?
Brat is like, you're like a party girl, but like you go out at really late at night and like you fall asleep with all your makeup on. And
I mean, I have to love Kamala being in a menage a trois at one point. Get the best Kamala laugh ever.
Oh my God, she has the best laugh.
Joy. We love joy. We're all about joy.
Go, Kamala.
Okay, how do we guarantee equity of joy?
Equity of joy will flow forth from Kamala. It's just a given and part of her.
Oh, we are manifesting.
It's coming to
People
you.
say vibes don't matter, but we are manifesting our nation.
It to you.
Oh,
we love you.
We have a woman of color, and we also have Tim Walz. What a great example for the body positive community. What do you think Tim Walz can be as an inspiration for body positive people?
A young man came to him and said, we want to have a gay club here at our high school. And he said, I'm going to lead that because I need to be
He's like
supportive.
a gay leader.
Whose thing did I write on? Oh, I'm not going to her wedding anyway.
Well, that's what replaced Paul Harvey. These are our influencers nowadays. These are the people that talk to millions. Harris team announced that they will dismantle the Constitution and Bill of Rights, calling it an antiquated document. Interesting. Man, I can't. I have my suspicions. Has anyone ever seen Jerry Nadler and Humpty Dumpty in the same place at the same time? That's terrible. I shouldn't be laughing at that. But it's funny. Yes, exactly. I mean, would you rather have abortion or democracy? Oh, abortion. And apparently being a brat is exactly what they want in their president. They want somebody who falls asleep with their makeup, sleeps with multiple men, has
Ew.
abortions on demand for birth control. That's what
Sounds like a hot mess to me.
Well, it sounds like a hot mess to me too. Was he serious or was he trolling them?
I think trolling.
I can't answer the question. I think he was trolling, but I'm not quite sure. The clip was on X and it was about 6 minutes long. I'm not sure who he is, quite frankly. That I clipped that from Elon Musk. She's now in favor of border wall. Yeah. Trolling. He does it all the time. Okay, well, that's good. So Tommy knows. Yeah, so she's now in favor of the border wall, and she actually she has a commercial, and I will play it for you. It's a little out of order. Where is it? Hold on. Here it is.
Kamala Harris has spent decades fighting violent crime. As a border state prosecutor, she took on drug cartels and jailed gang members for smuggling weapons and drugs across the border. As vice president, she backed the toughest border control bill in decades. And as president, she will hire thousands more border agents and crack down on fentanyl and human trafficking. Fixing the border is tough. So is Kamala Harris.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Yeah, well, it seems like everything that's coming out of their mouth is lies. Problem is that they're only fact checking one person, and it's not them. That's for sure. She has to find the board. Very good, Mom. She also said she's going to make purchasing homes affordable. Sounds like she's becoming a Republican. Yeah. Well, I'm interested in knowing what would qualify you for that $250,000.
But somebody asked me, and I didn't hear it, that say you buy a house for $100,000 and in the next year it goes up to $200,000, that you're going to pay capital gains on that $100,000, even though you still own the house and live in it.
They're trying to make you pay capital gains on stuff that you haven't sold yet. That's one of the things that the Democrats are proposing. So
you're not getting any money out of it. You're still living in it. You're still paying your property taxes, which are going up, and now you're going to pay taxes on money you don't have.
That's correct. Well, that's why the Democrats.
Then what happens when it plummets the next year? Do you get money back?
Well, I can't tell you that I know all of the proposals because, frankly, if you go to Kamala, right? Kamala's website, you can't find any position.
It's like a comma law. All these years and no
Kamala.
Kamala.
No, Kamala.
Kamala.
Kamala. Okay, Kamala.
Like a comma, Kamala.
Okay.
That's how her 8-year-old niece taught everybody, because the 4 years that we've been saying Kamala and she didn't care, now she has to be different. Even more different.
Has to be different.
Asian and Kamala.
Yep.
Kamala. I can't even say it. Okay.
Yeah, unrealized capital gains. That's absolutely. If anybody knows, Colleen knows. She endorsed Senator Leland Yee, a known gun drug trafficker. She's tough, all right. Okay, so what we do know is that if you go to Kamala's website, you're not going to find any policy positions. If you go look for some interviews she's done with the media about her policy positions, you're not going to find them because she's done none. We know that she decided to adopt Trump's no tax on tips. That's very good. We now know that she's now adopting the border wall, even though she in the past has said that walls don't work. So she's now taking that position. We also know that with the ABC debate that they both settled on for September 10th, and that all the rules were supposed to be the same as they were for Biden and Trump, with the mics muted and the no notes and all that stuff. Well, now she's changing it, even though she agreed on it. She wants the mics unmuted, and she wants to be able to bring her notes to the classroom. So now.
But I thought Trump didn't want the mics muted either.
No. Trump says he doesn't care. He doesn't care one way or the other.
I would rather them muted for him.
Well, I think that running against a woman is tough. I saw that with Rick Lazio against Hillary Clinton in the Senate race in 2000. It was very tough. When
Trump ran against Hillary Clinton in
yeah, by that time, but Trump did run against Hillary Clinton.
But she's not a woman.
I was just going to say, by that time now, Clinton's personality and her record as Secretary of State, Secretary of State and Senator was such that people didn't regard her as
girly girl. Like she was the same person as anyone
else. She wasn't vulnerable. Whereas when Rick Lazio stepped to her podium to have her sign a pledge, people thought that was aggressive, and they really gave him what for it. So, but Kamala will be seen as vulnerable. And if Trump goes too hard, that's going to reflect poorly. So they're trying everything they can to get him triggered, and he's not biting. He's just not biting. Not all Democrats, Billy, because we know that there are some that are great. The problem is that there's bad on both sides, but these progressive libs, these socialist libs, they're out of their minds. They're absolutely out of their minds. That's my opinion anyway. If you think all Democrats are, I will tell you that in my opinion, there are plenty of Republican slime out there. Look at Mitt Romney. Look at what's her face? The one from CNN that was Trump's press secretary for a little while, worked in the White House. Look at Liz Cheney. I mean, we have a ton of Republicans that are pieces of slime. comma, chameleon, you come and go, you come and go. Yeah, and you flip and you change it. That, that's true. They should start playing that song for her because she changes colors depending on who she's talking to. Well, she changes her appearance. Let's not say colors because we'll get in trouble for that. I'm not going to read that one. They're saying it only applies over 100 million, but I don't believe that.
The houses.
The capital unrealized capital gains. What's with no debate? Well, that's it. I mean, we don't know. Now she's backing out of the debate unless they change the rules that she agreed to before and the rules that the Biden campaign had agreed to with Trump. So go figure. Still no interviews. No interviews. They're willing to give illegals 25 to 30K for down on a home in Cali, 130 for illegals to put towards homes. Yeah, I'm going to show you something again out of order, but no open book test for presidency. She can't debate without notes. No brain. Yeah. Globalists. I also saw today that they are bringing charges against Trump.
Well, she wants to reopen the case. She said that would happen. She closed it and it wasn't right constitutional. I don't know.
No.
Can you reopen it?
Jack Smith.
Can you reopen it?
Well, he did it again today. There are 200 Republicans endorsing Kamala to include Susan Molinari. Yeah, that's a shame. Again, not Republicans, because if you're endorsing socialism, you're not a Republican. Hello, Gloria. How are you? So I want you to see, where is it? Here it is. I want you to see an average American citizen and small business owner on what she has to say about what's going on with the illegal migrants. Watch.
Back in 2019, I purchased my first food truck. It cost me over $25,000. I paid it cash money. I worked hard to pay for this truck. I'm now selling it because I'm doing other things, but I'm selling it. I had a guy come to look at purchasing my vehicle, or my food truck. And he explained to me he's an illegal immigrant. He has no credit. He has no money in the bank. But he showed me his paperwork that he will receive funds to purchase my food truck. I'm thankful that he's buying it, but I'm hurt that I worked so hard to pay cash for my food truck. I have good credit, can't even get a business loan because of the color of my skin. I have veterans in my family. I'm a veteran. I've been self-employed for so long. But somebody, please tell me, how do I work so hard to have somebody who comes to this country, not long, no credit, and he shows me paperwork where they'll be funding him money to buy my food truck. And when I talked to the bank, they told me usually they have to go straight to a dealership because I'm a private sale. But for special circumstances, they're going to, they allow it. But I need my president to tell me why I worked so hard all these years, all these decades. Couldn't get a business loan, but I bust my ass to get the money to create my business. And we got immigrants coming here. And they're getting money. Money! We're doing nothing but just being here. It's not right, and I want answers.
It's terrible.
How do you justify it? How could anybody justify it? I don't understand. And obviously she doesn't understand. And I think that this is what's going to win Trump the election, quite frankly.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I think so.
Hopefully what they say about the AI. I mean, listen, she's getting a ton of money. I'm sure it's from George Soros's people.
Oh, absolutely.
And not the American voters. They're just trying to bankroll to make it look like she's doing phenomenal. But even the New York Times said to watch out because this has happened before where a female has ran and got demolished and Trump will win. And that's what the Times said.
Well, I hope so. I think that two things are happening, that we've got a war raging. We've got two wars raging, and then we have China threatening to actually invade Taiwan. And it's just a matter of time. I mean, the American, the Navy is there in Israel. I'm sorry, in Ukraine.
Yeah. And Biden says that there's been no war since he's in office, but we're in Israel.
Well,
we intercepted bombs the other day. We're in Ukraine.
Yep.
So we're at war.
As soon as they won't consider that we're in war until we send ground troops in, which I think is ridiculous. But I don't think that people will believe that Kamala can handle this. So I think that that's going to play in Trump's favor.
She can't even handle speaking without a teleprompter.
Well, and that's it. She doesn't. She's a great
speaker with a teleprompter.
Right. She is a good speaker when she has.
But when they catch her on the streets, or it's terrific.
Yep. Because Democrats, politicians have used black people for 50 years, and now they're done using them, and they have a new population of immigrants to exploit. Absolutely, and it is heartbreaking, 100%. And who's running the country right now? Who knows? Because Biden's back on vacation. He spent a week on vacation, and then his second week is on vacation. China will invade Taiwan on day one of Kamala's presidency. Yeah. Mark Robinson is way down in North Carolina polls. It's insane. I'm nervous. I think that we need to wait a little bit. There was definitely a bounce off of the convention. And, we'll see. We'll see what happens. This is not going to last long. Wow, work hard for years, good credit, and alien is more valuable, and his business is more coveted than yours. Geez. Yeah, it's how did she explain that? How? I mean, and she's going to say border bill, but we all know that the National Security Act had a bunch of stuff in there, more to do with protecting Ukraine's borders and Israel's borders than ours.
It wasn't even a real border bill.
It wasn't. Well, it gave some money to the border, and it did have money to build the wall. But this is the one that they said Trump stopped because it gave billions of dollars to Israel and Ukraine, and even to pay off debt that Taiwan owed to China. And also it turned everybody who crossed the border into, they were no longer illegal. They were converted already into asylum seekers who were in good graces with the government.
Before November, we'll be able to vote.
And it gave them immediate working papers, and it gave their family the right to get visas to come to visit them while they were waiting their hearings. I mean, that's just some of the nonsense that was in that bill. And quite frankly, the Republicans were correct in the House to get rid of that bill. In my opinion, if we do need a congressional border bill, we do. But it should be not an omnibus bill like this one was. It should be just related to the border. Period. End of story.
Well, it should be the exact same way it was. You get vetted, you turn in your paperwork, you wait. If you come here sick, you're sent back, you reapply, you wait again. Because the only other time there was a problem like this was in 1980 when Castro let out all the jails and insane asylums and sent them all in the flotilla. It was the only other time.
And Haiti too. Haiti did the same thing.
That was
and that was in the 1980s.
Then, there was not. Yeah.
Well, Mom, I don't know if they're going to speak out loud or not. I hope so. I believe in my heart that there can't be any middle class American of a moderate point of view who can vote in good conscience for Kamala. I just can't believe it. Now, extremist women, the abortion thing, it may or may not continue to work. I think it's not going to as much as before because, quite frankly, the reason the abortion thing worked before in 2022 was because we were still okay from Trump policies, and the economy hadn't tanked all the way yet. And that's why people were voting on social issues. But right now, people are going to be voting with their pocketbooks and on war. And about saying, those suburban housewives are going to be worrying about their kids being drafted into a war. So I heard the voice of the Lord saying, "Whom shall I send, and who will go for us?" Then said, "Here I am, send me." It's crazy, it's sad, it's scary. They didn't even need a border bill. Just go back to Trump's stay in Mexico policy when they apply for citizenship. Exactly. Send me. All right, Billy is volunteering. He's ready. Okay, so there were. Did I play the protesters one? I can't remember.
No.
Okay, well, let's move on. Free speech. There's a lot of talk about free speech and policies, and the Kamala policies we don't know. I want you to hear Tim Walz talking about free speech. Watch.
I think we need to push back on this. There's no guarantee to free speech on misinformation or hate speech, and especially around our democracy. I think
no guarantee.
No guarantee.
No guarantee. That First Amendment is not a guarantee to free speech on misinformation. Well, this one you could talk over. This is Mark Zuckerberg's letter to, what's his name? All right, to Congress. At any rate, it talks about senior officials in the Biden administration telling Facebook that they needed to handle the misinformation and disinformation around COVID-19. And that should include humor and satire around COVID-19. And also in that letter, he talks about the fact that the FBI told them that the laptop was disinformation. And he apologized for it. Now, we knew this because we had played the Joe Rogan clip about 100 years ago when it all came out, that Zuckerberg admitted that the FBI was involved in, and the Biden administration were censoring Facebook users. But I have to say something. My borough president's page on Facebook has been around since 2020. And it is clearly a conservative page, so much so that I've been shadow banned and threatened to be taken down and blah, blah, blah. Do you know that in my newsfeed on that page is reams of pro-Kamala, anti-Trump posts from people that I don't follow, people who they're suggesting that I follow.
Of course, they're brainwashing you.
And I click hide, and I click, I don't want to see any of this. And I click block, and they just keep coming in waves. I want to know if anybody else is seeing this. Anybody else seeing it on Facebook?
You know me, I don't go on.
I know.
I see puppies and lions and rainbows.
Okay. Yeah, that's
the only other thing I could think of is that it's connected to you anyway because it's Meta, and because we post about this stuff, and you probably do research on the Democrats that it's coming up. That's a very big possibility because that happens when I do research and I start doing that. Then all of a sudden I'm flooded with all that bullshit, and you just can't look at it. And I used to tell my clients that don't like anything because then you're not going to get to see the other side. Then it's all going to be the stuff you know. So it could be that.
It could be, but I kind of feel like that on that page, just so that you know, Jen, I very rarely use that page to like
But it's
anything.
still connected to your name in Meta. That's what I'm saying. In Meta.
Yeah. Well, that's the only way.
It's like a business and a social security number. That business, if it fails, is connected to your social security number. And that's how social media works. So But
Well,
I
Howard,
mean,
I agree. The Democrats are going to vote for Kamala. I'm talking about the independents. I'm talking about the people that don't like either the Republican or Democrat Party, the people that were following RFK, and other people who are just out there undecided. I'm not talking, it's clear. Look, the conservatives are voting for Trump, right? Except for right now, the Christians and the 2A people who are supporting Trump, but don't believe that their vote counts, and so they're staying home. And then the Democrats and the progressives are voting for Kamala. So that's a given. The question is, how do you get the middle? How do you get those voters who think that all of Washington is corrupt, that both parties suck, and that their interests are never being taken care of? In my opinion, the way you do that is to stop talking about turning things red, but talking about turning things to common sense. Right now, you got to use the word conservative more than you have to use the word Republican.
Trump needs to put out that the migrants are taking everyone else's money away, and they are. All the poor neighborhoods, all the people's food stamps are being cut off. All of their welfare is being cut. Why? Because the migrants are getting it all.
Yep. Well, and that's what he's been saying, but that's when he talked about, they're taking the jobs from black people. Oh, what's a black job? What's a black job? Thank you, J.A. I couldn't think of his name. I couldn't call it to my memory. I'm old, and I admit it. I'm suffering from Biden dementia. I've explained it. Okay. I've experienced it. Camp Block. Yeah, exactly. Camp Block. I'm seeing it on random posts where a bunch of trolls pop in. I think it's bots on real life friends posts. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's bots. I think that because there's always another one. And the thing is that they all post the same thing. It's like the word of the day. And
they just share it. Yeah, reshare it and reshare it. Listen, if you're that dumb to believe anything that it's going to affect your life on Facebook, unless it's a lion and a golden retriever being friends, you are retarded. And that's it. And you shouldn't be voting, and you shouldn't be living by yourself, because
I get what you're saying. But now more people get their news from social media. 80%
and they're stupid.
Adults get their news from social media because the news doesn't report the news. The news has become biased. So people now,
go out and live life and learn about things and read.
Well, where are you going to get the information? She hasn't given one interview. So the only people that are talking about her agenda are her surrogates, and they're pulling it out of their ass because she hasn't given an interview. So how do you do your research? Her own website has no policies on it. How do you do your research on that candidate? It's all Hollywood glitz and glamour. And somebody said it earlier about that. All right. So is it legal to have immigrants vote in the election? So, Mom, here's the thing, is that some states are allowing illegal immigrants to vote. They're giving them IDs, driver's license, and they're saying you can vote. Not in federal elections, though. Only in state.
Only local. No, local.
Yeah, local. Well, it depends. Arizona is actually pushing for illegal migrants.
But in all reality, if you don't think the Democrat Party, when they send you your money, is telling you to go vote under this name, you could go and they don't check ID cards anymore. There's no ID. There's no signature card. Nothing. All you have to say is, this is my address and my name, and go right in.
And that's exactly why he created that app, because they can track them with that app. So that means they can send them messages with that app. They gave them
the
all
phones, the free phones they got.
Yeah,
exactly.
They gave them free phones
nice
on the app.
text.
And now they can message to them over and over and over again. And they can tell them exactly.
You want your money next month? Go vote under this name.
Just like Antifa, right? How they all communicated through the app. How about crooks who shot at Donald Trump? He had encrypted social media or encrypted messaging in 3 countries. How does a 20-year-old, from Pennsylvania, know about encrypted messaging? How did that happen? Interesting stuff going on.
Well, encrypted messaging is WhatsApp, so
it's WhatsApp. Yes, it is, and from 3 countries he was communicating. But yet we don't know what he was saying because the FBI hasn't told us, and neither is the Secret Service. I think Trump should just start wearing a Batman costume. I agree. Oh yeah, that's right. Well, I'll use it for next week. I did a meme about all our new superheroes. Kennedy said 269 tie, and he can then win. Yes. Okay. Yes. Well, that's why what he did was he suspended his campaign. He endorsed Trump, and he took himself off the ballot in all of the swing states because he did not want to become spoiler. But what he's
that's what would have happened.
What he's asking people to do is if you live in a solid blue state like New York or California, or a solid red state like South Carolina or Texas, that you vote for him to send a message to the Democrats.
That's great.
Isn't that
actually.
interesting?
And
I don't know how much I trust
He is a
that.
Republican. He's best friends with Roseanne Barr. Like, stop it. Stop it. He should have been VP, in my opinion.
It would have
Tim
been
Scott or him.
It would have been a smart move. He should have gotten out earlier. Need the middle. You get endorsements from Kennedy, Tulsi, and Musk. Yeah. Well, let's see. I hope you're right. They are that dumb. Yeah, I know. Exact same comments. Yeah. Smoke and mirrors. Democrat voters get all their information from memes. They don't read or watch the news. I can't. I would like to say you're wrong, but I can't disagree with you. Watch for this deal in 2024. It will blow what happened in 2020 away. My concern is that no matter who wins, we're going to be in a bad way in this country. Geez, talk about subterfuge. Smoke and mirrors is right. I watched a documentary on Wyatt Earp on Netflix. It was called Wyatt Earp and the Cowboy Wars. And I like Westerns, and I like knowing about the old.
I like the movie Wyatt Earp.
I loved the movie Wyatt Earp. I loved it. So I decided to watch it. And it was about the politics behind what happened at the OK Corral and Wyatt Earp. And I'm not going to go into it all here, but just let's say this, is that the media actually destroyed Wyatt Earp's reputation as a marshal. And Wyatt Earp had to work. The only reason we know Wyatt Earp as the good guy now is because he lived long enough for movies to come out, and he consulted on the Western movies in the 1920s, and he had them portray him as a hero. But up until then, after the OK Corral, Wyatt Earp was considered an outlaw because of the media and because of lies. So if you really want to see, if you want to see the rest of the story, you should watch Wyatt Earp and the Cowboy Wars. I'm also reading a book called The Patriot about George Washington and the founding of the country, and how fragile this country is, and how it almost didn't get off the ground, and how easily it can unravel again. Because
it did.
Yeah, well, it is unraveling, but and you know who the culprit is in both of those books or both of those stories? The press. The press. It's amazing.
Listen, the Bible's not real. That's a comic book. How do you know it's not? If you think any of that is real, you're crazy.
Well, I do think the Bible. I think the Bible is real.
I think it's a comic book with superheroes, and there's not and I think also it's like the media. A lot of it isn't real. A lot of it. And we're not smart enough to even fathom what could be real, because our brains do not expand that much. And past 8%, that's a genius. So again, we'll believe anything we're told. But
wow,
if it was real, why are there so many editions?
What, of the Bible? Well, that's because men wrote it. That, they're telling the story. I mean, clearly we know that Jesus Christ
so they forget
lived.
Everything. So see, there you go. Did your husband remember everything? Men forget everything. They don't even listen.
I am not saying that verbatim everything in there is legitimate, but what I am saying is that I believe Jesus lived. I believe he was crucified. I believe that he is the Son of God. but I also believe that others of us are also the children of God. I believe that his life's path was to save the people from, again, it was religion, right? He fought against, the Romans and the Jews. He fought against everything, and he started a new religion. I've always said that Jesus was an excellent politician. And 2,000 years later, people are still,
he had a great publicist, Bernadine.
Whether or not the stories were
accurate,
elaborated on, I'm going to say, of course, because what do they say? To the victor, his history is written by the victor. So he wasn't the victor, but he became the victor, right? Because he was crucified. So you would say, that's the end of him. No, that was the beginning of the story. So it's interesting. But I get what you're saying. A lot of people believe that religion we said it at the top of the hour, is a fairy tale. I happen to believe deeply in God. I don't believe so deeply in religion. But
I think it's there to keep people sane.
Yeah. I mean,
because where did God come from? We could go a whole other route with this.
Oh, yeah. Let's not.
Did they ever mention where he came from?
Let's not, because we're just conjecture. Let's talk about what's in front of us, which is the politics of today, and not 2,000 years ago,
and not tomorrow, because tomorrow is not today. It's only yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely, Ralph. Here's the thing that I laugh about. Kamala took in $500 million, okay, since she started running. 500 to $500 million, okay? Now, whether it was legitimate or not, I'm not going to say. But she's looking for volunteers. She's not willing to pay the $15 an hour or the minimum wage in the States. So she wants people to work for free. Go think about that. Remember, I said months ago, Trump Kennedy, but glad he came on board. Yes, exactly. You did say that. Who is Kamala Harris going to sleep with first? Putin or, oh my gosh. Look how the media demonized Jews prior to the final solution and to this day. Yeah, I mean, the media was pro-Hitler.
They still do demonize the Jews.
Yeah. All right, let's see. All right, we don't have a lot of time, so we're going to go right to Kamala's policies. Okay, these are some policies that I dug up. Since we can't find any of hers, here's some that I dug up.
What's your favorite policy of Kamala's?
Sorry. That was incorrect. Here we go.
You must have the courage to object when they use that term. Radical Islamic terrorism, which ignores how Muslims have overwhelmingly been the greatest victims of terror. And we must also have the courage to reject that term illegal alien. I have seen some of the worst of criminal behavior. I have seen the worst of crime. An undocumented immigrant is not a criminal.
She obviously doesn't read the New York Post.
Well, if you're undocumented, that means you came in here illegally. Then you are a criminal just right off the get-go. But anyway, let's hear her position on equity.
So while we are clear-eyed and see the moment we are in, and in particular, the attacks on our democracy and our foundational principles and values. While we fight off these attacks, I will also say, Nan, we must also keep our eye on the affirmative agenda. We've got to do both. Because remember, Dr. King, when he was assassinated, was on the verge of the next phase in the rights that he was fighting for all Americans that are about civil rights. And he was combining that fight for civil rights and justice with the fight for economic justice. And as Dr. King said in Memphis, we must continue the fight for economic justice as part of our fight for civil rights. And economic justice, then, we know, is our collective commitment to equity and to make sure all people have access to opportunity. It is the fight for paid leave and affordable child care, to permanently expand the child tax credit, to cancel student loan debt, to provide access to capital for small business owners and entrepreneurs, to make sure all families can buy a home, and to protect Social Security and Medicare from attack. We got to keep our eye on our affirmative agenda while we are handling all those attacks.
Okay. All right.
Oh.
And let's hear, let's hear what you want to do to some small businesses and their patents.
I will snatch their patent so that we will take over. And yes, we can do that. Yes, we can do that. Yes, we can do that. It's the question is, do you have the will to do it? I have the will to do it.
I don't even know what she's talking about. I need to see the beginning of. I know what that is, but I'm saying.
Yeah. So she's talking about snatching people's patents, small businesses' patents. So, okay, and let's hear what this man thinks about the Democrats embracing George Floyd. This is pretty interesting.
George Floyd is the Democratic Party's prototypical black man. These are the black men they are trying to create. So George Floyd has to be elevated. He has to be celebrated. He's perfect to them. He was poor. He was uneducated. He was a drug addict. He didn't have a job. To a white Democrat, this is the perfect black man. Because this is how they see black America. They see us the same way they see George Floyd. And they have to make more of us. You know, John F. Kennedy stood in front of the Berlin Wall in the 60s and said, if you think that communism is great, let them come to Berlin. Well, if you think that the Democratic Party is great, let them come to Detroit. Let them come to Chicago. Let them come to St. Louis. Let them come to LA, Portland, Seattle, Memphis. Anywhere where they rule, you'll see George Floyd's all over the place. And they're proud of them. In Baltimore, Maryland, they spend $21,000 per child. Not one school is proficient in math, science, or reading. But they keep it going every year. Why? Because they're producing George Floyd.
Why would you want more people like that? Because
he votes for the Democrat Party. And then he teaches his children to vote for the Democrat Party.
Think about that. That's truly interesting. All right, we have a lot of comments here. Let's see. I'm sure your Bible comment got us where we are. Who is Kamala Harris going to sleep? Oh, we did that one already. All right. Look how. Yeah, we did that one already. Religion is the optimum of the masses.
Opium.
Sorry. Opium of the masses. Wasn't a bulk of that $500 million raised for Biden, and she got it when he dropped out? Possibly. Andrew Dorman made it. You can always rewatch it on YouTube, Andrew. How can anyone listen to Kamala Harris and not bang their head against the wall? Well, maybe that's what happened to Biden. Okay, let's see. The Collective from the Communist Manifesto. Okay, she wants to protect Social Security and Medicare with 20 to 50% inflation, and also let all those illegal migrants who are not criminals go on those rolls, right? How many of them are old? How many of them are going to be disabled? How many can't work? They're all going to be Social Security disability. I met one voter who said she's not voting Trump because he will cut Social Security. People believe her. They do believe her because she has all the press, right? The press is an echo chamber. Back to my Democrat plantation comment. Yeah, it's just amazing to me that they call us,
yeah.
White supremacists. And I'm sorry, but as long as I have been alive, I have been taught to treat people equally unless they show you that they shouldn't be treated with respect and dignity. It's crazy. Wow, that George Floyd video said a hell of a lot, especially when he mentioned the cities affected by dumb policies. Sad. And it's true. I mean, it's true. If you continue, it's insanity. If you do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. At some point, you have to stand up. We are all demonized for being MAGA. We are demonized. We are dragged. We are, obliterated in the press. We are obliterated from the podium in the White House. And still we stand, because what we stand for is to make America great again, which does not mean Trump. Trump right now is the one who is leading this charge, but it's not just Trump. It is the ability for us
humanity to bring humanity back to where it was.
Oh, to bring America back to where it was and to make sense. You cannot tell us follow the science and then show us a pregnant man. You can't do that and tell us it's a man and we have to believe it's a man who is pregnant.
Or it's a cat.
Yeah, right.
Or a panda.
Or a child that's, something else. Kamala, stop banging my head against the tea kettle. Yiddish proverb. Okay. Stand up. We need a leader. I nominate Joan of Arc. Yeah, you got the right one because people follow her. We are all human beings. Enough with the political racism. Indeed. All right, we have a couple more. Oh, listen to Judge Judy, considering that today Trump was indicted a second time by Jack Smith. Listen to Judge Judy for a minute.
Donald Trump was indicted in 4 separate cases, and his legal strategy was pretty clear. He wanted to push all of the trials past the election. That kind of effort to just use procedural motions, whatever, is that the justice system working, or is it the justice system being manipulated?
I would be happier, as someone who owns property in Manhattan, if the district attorney of New York County would take care of criminals who are making it impossible for citizens to walk in the streets and use the subway, to use his efforts to keep those people off the street, than to spend $5 million or $10 million of taxpayers' money trying Donald Trump on this nonsense. That's my view. But I, as a taxpayer in this country, resent using the system for your own personal self-aggrandizement. Now, if you didn't know...
And that's what you think the DA did in Manhattan?
That's what I think. I mean, if you look, you had to twist yourself into a pretzel to figure out what the crime was. He doesn't like them.
Yay.
Okay, and let's have a look at Oprah before she was anti-Trump.
This was the opening concert in New York, and there were all kinds of celebrities, very, very famous people coming in to be seated, and that when you were seated, you got the loudest applause. People stood up and roared and cheered when you walked in. Why is that? What is this fascination?
I don't know. Maybe I should be a rock star. By the way,
they thought you were going to moonwalk.
He was great. I have to say. No, I did get I don't know why. I really don't know why. I wish I could pinpoint it. I wish I could really tell you why. But I think I've done a good job in New York, and I've done a charitable job in a sense. And Trump Tower has become such a success, and it's as you and I were discussing, it's become the #1 attraction in New York, Trump Tower, and I think people recognize it. New York people are really proud of it, and people.
So you've sort of become like a folk hero. I mean, people. There's someone in this audience. I was reading the audience list. Some man who's a businessman. You can tell me who you are later. Who went to New York and just wanted to stand by your building, hoping some of the luck would run off.
Is that true? Is he in this audience?
He's in this audience.
We have to find him.
Yeah. And so how do you explain that, or is there an explanation?
I believe that you make your own luck to a large extent. The word luck is a very important word. Very important. There's no more important word than luck. But you can help create or help make your own luck. I walk down the street a lot of times, and people will touch me and they'll grab for me, and I used to really be insulted because I'm a private guy. I'd say, geez, that's horrible. Somebody punches you in the arm a little bit, and you're just walking down the street. And then ultimately, I became, in a sense, honored by that because people are really looking for something. Unfortunately, I don't think that has any effect. I don't think it works. I think you have to go out and really work hard.
So, and while Kamala took the day off yesterday. Oh crap. My internet might be slow right now. While she took the day off yesterday and Biden took another week off, here's what Trump was doing in honor of the 13 soldiers who died during the pullout in Afghanistan.
You didn't see that on the news.
Oh no. But you saw it all over X, and people were saying that when they took pictures, the family for some reason had some symbols and Trump had his thumbs up, and they were giving him grief for that. So all right, so I want to leave you with this because we talked about, will people just vote for Kamala without her giving any policies or anything else, and we all agree that they will. But I want you to hear people at the DNC asked about her policies.
What's your favorite policy of Kamala's?
That's a hard one.
What's your favorite policy of Kamala's?
Her being president.
That's your favorite policy position?
Oh, yeah.
How so?
Because it covers everything that she defends.
I'm really excited for her to restore reproductive rights across America. How do you think she'll go about doing that?
I don't know.
What a fun question.
I don't know. I'm picking and choosing. I mean, I really like most of them.
So you have to look at it broadly, right? It's about what she stands for right now.
What's your favorite of Kamala's policies?
I'm trying to think. Well, actually, more of like, what Waltz comes in.
All of her policies, everything from I'm non-binary, and so all of the policies for basic human rights to have our own bodies and do with them as we please,
Her willingness to move forward on affordable health care.
How do you think she'll do that as president?
I think she'll work to motivate the legislature to vote in favor of it.
As her as a person, just tops out any policy. I really admire her.
Great.
Non-binary. He looks like John Lennon swallowed Elton John. Stop it.
Well, we have some Judge Judy fans, Mick Forty, Martin Lee, Oprah and Jesse Jackson sold Trump out. They did. Starting to look like Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Oh, Judge Judy, yeah. Trump was a cultural icon until he ran for president. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, dumb as rocks. Their new pronoun is moron. What I find interesting is that all these young girls are so interested in murdering children and your reproductive rights.
I don't think we're going to get them any pregnant anyway. Look at them. They're fine. Sorry.
Some of them are cute. But having said that, but they want Obamacare. They want healthcare. So they want the government out of their bodies, but they want the government in control of their healthcare.
Yeah.
So how does
if you don't have it, you have to pay for your taxes. When you do your tax, if you didn't have the health care and you didn't pay for it, they penalize you.
But the thing is if the government is in control of your health care, they're in control of everything about your health, right? Your shots, your this, your that. They can mandate anything because now they're the insurance company. Because anybody who has insurance knows damn straight that you have to wait for insurance approval before you can get a procedure, and they're quote unquote
Unless
doctors,
you have Medicaid,
which is the government, right?
Yep.
The government decides. So either way, so you're telling us politicians should not be in control of healthcare for women, but it should be in control of healthcare for everybody. So wait, what are you going to do? You're going to carve out that section of, abortions? No, the government is going to decide whether or not you can have an abortion. That the government's going to decide whether or not you can have a diabetes shot. The government's going to decide whether or not you're going to have an operation. If healthcare for all, if Medicare for all passes. So it's once again hypocrisy, absolute insanity that they're saying, get out of my body, but I want you in control of my body and my health. Yeah. Get out. I'm just tired of it. Kamala Harris policy to finish America and drive all citizens into the sewer. Yep. Just declare yourself as an illegal immigrant. Everything will be free. Yeah. And you'll get some money. It's about the splash. It is. So Hollywood is running Kamala's campaign. And the goal here is, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to fight it, you got to have the Goyuns to stand up. I know I'm preaching to the choir, our 23 viewers. But somehow or another,
George Clooney went from Nespresso to Kamala. So
yeah. Well, we got to share the information, and you got to volunteer. You got to go out and work, for your candidate. I'm hoping your candidate is Trump, but you got to work for your candidate. All right, Jennifer, you get the last word, babe.
No, I wonder if just like citizen just went to the voting booth, the poll areas during the election day, if they could stand there when people check in to vote, if they're allowed to oversee that.
Yes, they are.
You could just go in and do it.
Poll watcher.
No, I understand that, but I mean, like, can you just go?
No.
I
you
know.
have to have a poll
why
watcher.
not?
Well, in New York, you need a poll watcher certificate.
But why can't you just stand there?
Because in New York, you need a poll watcher certificate. In South Carolina, I'm not exactly sure what kind of documents they're going to give us.
So you're not allowed to stand there all day and watch what they do?
Inside the voting place?
No, in the school when they come in.
Yeah, inside the voting place. Well, all states have different laws. In New York, you have to get a poll watcher certificate. Other places, you might be able to.
No, I'm not saying legally where you're going to just watch and see what happens. Are you allowed?
No, I understand exactly what you're saying. I believe that, it depends on the state and what their laws are, because it could be intimidating to voters. It could be too crowded. Who knows? So I like this one. 23 loyal viewers. Yes, indeed. Thank you, Mick 40. Thank you to everybody for being with us. As usual, we've gone over. I was really trying not to go over. But we'll see you next week. And next week, we're going to talk about Trump and Kennedy and Elon and Tulsi and all the superheroes that have now decided to stand up for truth, justice, and the American way. So we will see you next Tuesday.
Yes.
Howard says he could see you standing in the gym.
Yeah.
All right. Love you all.
Bye.